Hey, do you want to learn how to put neon that tracks anything like that? Or put some neon effects like I just did right there? I'm going to show you right here in this video today. Let's go. So with this neon text effect, you can do things like Falling in Reverse did here in their video called Drugs, where you see the neon shoot around the outside edges of stuff and shoot out of different objects and out of different parts of people, whether it's their head or their fingers, or like Blotter Media does with their dance videos. You can see right here, it makes it super interesting, and there's a lot of creative ways that you can use this neon effect. Or you can put it on literally anything like this skateboarder here to really accent and make the video super interesting and really pop out to viewers. So right here is our initial video. There's me making my little hand signals like I'm waving in an airplane or something. But we're going to go ahead and go down to the bottom, and you want to go to the Fusion tab right here. Now, if you're not too familiar with the Fusion tab, obviously you got the media in and the media out here. Now, up here you can kind of scrub across with the mouse and find where approximately you want to start this effect to happen. Or you can simply hit left or right on the arrow keys. Now, once you got that exactly where you would like to start, go ahead and click down in the bottom section there where the graph's at, and just hold shift and hit spacebar. It'll bring up the search tool right here. You want to type in the background. Now, it automatically connected this stuff up, but I'm going to want to move it up here because this is kind of more of where I want it. And I go ahead and hold shift and disconnect it just for me to help work here. Now I hold shift and hit spacebar once again. And we're going to want a paint node. So I type paint into the search, click on it, hit add. It adds it and it connected it right where I'm going to want it here. You want the background to connect directly to the paint. So the square to the yellow triangle on paint. Now you're going to want soft glow. That's the next one you want. Boom, and added it again. You want the square on the paint to connect to the yellow triangle on the soft glow. Now once you have that up, connect the gray square to the green at the top of the merge node. Now you notice it went completely black. That's perfectly fine. Click on the background, go up to the inspector and drag the alpha all the way to the left, and that just makes the background completely clear. You just need that background so that the program knows that there's somewhere to actually have these effects go. So now once you got that far, you can go ahead and click on paint, and now we can choose what color we want our neon to actually be. So here you can drag these sliders to come up with whatever color you want. But what I prefer to do is just to click on the color square right there, and you can drag around inside this rainbow up here. You can go a little bit lighter, a little bit darker. I like to come about a third of the way down. I think that ends up being more of a neon type of color, about a third of the way down from the top. So I picked this orange color, and this is what I'm going to do on my fingers. Now if you go into brush control here, you can go ahead and change the size. See that big green circle? That will be where you color at. But you can go smaller, and then you have a little tiny line. But actually for this, what I'm doing right here, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at the default size. It looks about right for the size of my fingertips. So we're going to be drawing neon lines here for my fingertips. And as they move down, I just keep putting a dot right now. But when they start moving, you know that light, if you want it to like blur and look like something's moving fast, when something moves faster and faster, you need the line to get longer and longer. So as we go down, and as my finger moves faster as I'm drawing down, I make the line a little bit longer, a little bit longer, and a little bit longer until it looks like it's moving faster and faster and faster. Now once we get a little bit more down to the bottom here, I actually start drawing the line even shorter. That way it looks like the object that is moving is actually slowing down. In this case, it is my fingertips. So there you go, a little bit shorter line, a little bit shorter line. I go ahead right there. I decided I put it in a little bit wrong spot. You can go ahead and hold Control and hit the Z key, and that will undo whatever move you did prior. So I go ahead and finish up the downstrokes here. And now I'm going to go ahead and speed it up here because I don't feel like you need to really watch every single second of that. You kind of get the idea. I'm moving up slowly here. And so I'm drawing little tiny lines, sometimes just putting just the dot on my fingertips, depending on if I want to show if it's actually moving or not. So there we're moving up and in, so I'm putting little lines. Go ahead and put some dots, and now my hands are going to start moving in the outwardly direction. Now they're slowly moving down and out, drawing these little lines. Now the lines are getting longer because my hands are moving quite quick. And now they're slowing down, so the lines are getting shorter. And we just put dots on the end because my hands are sitting still for a few seconds here. And once we get those dots done, we'll go ahead and play through, and I will show you exactly what this effect looks like that I did on my fingers. So here we go. There you go. You got the lines. It looks like the neon is moving, so you get the blur of when you swipe your fingers. I think that looks real good. You could draw the lines even longer if you wanted to make it look like those lines were lingering even longer to make it look like it was moving even faster, but I think that looks pretty darn good right there. So now I'm going to add the exact same thing again in order to make those green X's that were up in the corners that you've seen on the intro. So we're bringing in the soft glow here. We're going to bring in another merge node so that we can bring that into the project. So now once again, holding shift, hitting spacebar, bringing up the search tool, and now I typed in paint. Go ahead and add that to the project. And actually, it took me a second, I got confused, but it added it in there backwards to the way that I wanted it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do and hold shift and click the direct middle of that line. It'll make that connection go away. You want the square to go on the paint node to go to the yellow triangle on the soft glow, and then the square on the soft glow to go to the green on the merge node. Now I picked the color I want, but you do not need to add another background node. Just take the same gray square and connect it to the paint node and you're a-okay. This time I'm going to go ahead and pick a fatter paint brush just to make a bigger X. So up here, I'm just going to go ahead and draw the X on this frame. Now I'm going to go over one frame and I'm going to draw an X in roughly the exact same spot. You're never going to get it exactly the same, but that's kind of the point. You kind of see that X sort of flicker and shake. It makes it look really kind of wicked and cool. It's how that effect is supposed to look. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up, and I just keep going one frame forward and drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing another X over and over again until I get to where I no longer want that X to appear in that particular location. Now, as I start to point to the other side, I go ahead and I draw an X on the opposite side, as long as I feel like it should appear over there. This one doesn't appear as long, but we're going to go ahead and go back and take a look at exactly how that looks. There's the orange on the fingertips. Now you point to the X over here and the X over there. I think that looks spot on. That's kind of cool how that X flickers like that. Now, if you want whatever object you're drawing to stay forever, or at least for a long period of time, and you can go ahead and move it around with a transform node and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that right now. Now, I'm going to start off by doing the exact same thing that I did for the last part. You go ahead and add your merge node. You go ahead, hold shift and hit spacebar. You got to add your paint node, and you got to add your soft glow node as well. Now, if it ever falls exactly on the line like that, just go ahead and hold shift on the node, and it'll drag it right off of the line. A-okay. So there, you also need to add a background node, which I added in there. Now I'm bringing in my soft glow node. Connect those in the exact same manner. Go ahead and take the transparency of the background all the way down, and now I'll go ahead and pick the color that I want. I go ahead and decide to go with a green here once again. Now, once you have that part set though, now just above the upper left corner of the video, it's on multi-stroke. You have to change it to right there where I clicked, it changes it to stroke mode. And that will draw whatever you end up drawing on there, and it will leave it in that exact position forever unless you program it to change. Now I went ahead and make the brush a little bit smaller so that I can then put those X's over top of my eyes. That looks pretty good. You see this a ton when they add the glow into these type of videos. But you do notice right here, it's not actually following along with what I want it to cover. So what you need to do is go ahead and also add in a transform node. With a transform node, you can then make it larger and smaller, change the tilt left and right. You can change the location. Let me go ahead and look around here. I got to remember where I was at. Oopsie. So you just go ahead and drag it over the middle of the line there between the soft glow and the merge node. And now you have your transform node in there. Make sure it's selected. Head up here. And I went to the very beginning of the video and I keyframed it exactly over the top of my eyes so that those X's would cover them. Now you move ahead a few frames. Here I'm hitting the play button and then stopping it real quick and just moving it ever so slightly, ever so slightly, ever so slightly. And once you keyframe it, every time you make a move of the particular type of change that you keyframed, it will then make another keyframe for that. So as I continue through the video here, I end up just using the keys on the keyboard, the left and right arrows, in order to just move a few frames here and a few frames there. In general, the number of frames between when you put your next keyframe will have the most precise effect on this type of video. So really, you want to really take your time if you want it to end up absolutely perfect. I'm kind of doing it fast here for the purposes of this video. You can also see you can keyframe the tilt, you can keyframe the zoom, you can do absolutely anything, because if you move closer or further away from the camera, you're going to want the X's to get bigger or smaller. You might want them to tilt and angle the way that I did. So go ahead and you can keyframe all those different types of changes in order to have that effect to the X's so they continue to cover your eyes. Alrighty, now I got to the end of the video. I'm going to go ahead and drag the playhead back to the beginning, and we'll go ahead and look at how well I ended up tracking my eyes. You can see it's following it along, it's following along. It's not absolutely perfect because, like I said, I was kind of going quick for the purposes of this video, but you can see it definitely tracks my eyes, and you can even see it tilting to the left and to the right a little bit, and it actually zooms out a little bit as I tilt my head away here at the very end. Very cool effect. So if you put in the time, put in the effort, and you put your creativeness behind that, you can come up with really cool effects here in Davinci Resolve. If that video helped you out, hit that like button and subscribe up so you never miss any of the future Davinci Resolve tutorials, and peace out.